So guys, with NXT being a clip show tonight, I figured I would go ahead and give you a classic retro pay-per-view review on the WWE Network. This is No Way Out 2000 from the Hartford Civic Center on February 27th, 2000. A show that I told you guys I owed y'all a review of. And PhoneFree.com was the sponsor of the show. But this is a video that was supposed to come out about 2 weeks ago that I never uploaded. But anyway, guys, I am going to take it over to past Cameron. This is future Cameron talking. I am going to take it over. This is me doing an intro before the video, but I am going to take it over to past Cameron with the review. Hope you guys enjoy. What is going on, guys? It's your boy Killer Cam with my No Way Out 2000 review. This is a very, very classic show. I've never fully seen it all the way to the end, though. I've never seen the entire show, so it's going to be interesting to really see how the show is, and I'm excited to go back and watch a show on the bridge between the Royal Rumble 2000 and WrestleMania 2000. So let's get into this. So the opening match of the night was Chris Jericho versus Kurt Angle. And I cannot lie to you, this was a great opening match, but Angle came out, and it was funny. He said, just like the Hartford Whalers left Connecticut, I'm going to leave Connecticut, but I'm going to leave Connecticut as a champion. But unlike the Whalers, I will be back, and I will return as champion. You got to love Angle. He was coming in here as European champ against Jericho for the Intercontinental title. I thought this was a great opening match. Jericho came out and said Angle does have the three eyes, but it's idiot, imbecile, and ignoramus. And I guess Jericho and China had made up or something before this show happened. I was not keeping up with Raws and SmackDowns, which if y'all want me to review, let me know if there's a classic Raw or SmackDown or another classic pay-per-view that you want me to review. Anyway, this was a great opening match. The finish was unique because Angle tried to hit China with the European title or the IC title and almost got DQ'd. Jericho ended up putting him in the walls and he got out of it. Then the finish came when Jericho was going for a springboard lion salt and Angle hit him with the title. Angle would end up winning it 1, 2, 3. And there was a sign also that I thought was just absolutely hilarious. There was a sign in the crowd that said Kurt Angle is a commie. And I was like, damn, you know, how much heel heat could you have to where you have somebody calling you a commie? You know, but, Kurt Angle always liked to stick jabs at the fans. And this was just another one of those jabs. But it was a very, very great opening match. And I think that it was something that, was very underrated. Anyway, let's get on to the next contest, which was the New Age Outlaws against the Dudleys for the tag team title. It was a pretty decent contest. You know, Billy Gunn came into this match injured. The New Age Outlaws were the tag champs, and the Dudleys were the challengers. You would have a number one contenders match later on in the night. This was pretty decent, but they had shown where Billy Gunn had given Bubba a famouser on a table on SmackDown before this, and where Edge and Christian and the Hardys had taken on the four of them. Billy Gunn had gotten hit with a lead pipe late in this match. The match only went like 5 minutes, but he got hit late, and Road Dogg ended up taking the pin, and Road Dogg was looking all confused, like, why did we lose? Why did we lose? Whatever. But JR actually called the New Age Outlaws the greatest tag team of all time. They were a 6-time tag champ going into this. Pretty alright match. You know, I said I gave it a 2 out of 5, so that's just below average. Average is 2.5. So, hey, it was alright. You know, it did what it was supposed to do. It got the crowd hot. And it was okay because it was really two face teams. So you kind of knew things were going to be good regardless. But, I mean, hey, you know, obviously Billy Gunn and Road Dogg would have kind of a falling out after this match. And I think Billy Gunn would get kicked out of, or it would be Road Dogg. One of the two would get kicked out of DX. I forget which one it was. I think it was Billy Gunn, and then Billy would come back as the one, Billy Gunn. Next match of the night, we have Mark Henry versus Viscera. This match went about as good as you would expect. So basically, Mae Young was pregnant with Mark Henry's child, and it would end up being a hand the next night on Raw. Viscera splashed Mae Young, who was 77 years old, so you have to applaud her for taking that bump. Mark Henry would beat Viscera with the move that you see on the screen, which was just a basic body slam. In about 3 minutes, Mae Young Mae Young came in, Viscera tried to hit her with a splash, and Mark Henry hit him with a big slam and beat him. 1, 2, 3. And Mark Henry would end up getting his revenge on Viscera after Viscera had splashed Mae Young. I mean, there's really not much to this match. It was a big person match. It's actually really boring in a way. The match was only 3 minutes, which is what it should have been. It was not long. There was nothing of really note in this match. And yeah, I mean, it was alright. Nothing to really ride home about. Nothing to really knock your socks off. The next match would be better, which you would get, you'd get a recap of Edge and Christian versus the Hardys, and that would lead us into our next contest between Edge and Christian and the Hardys in a number one contenders match for the WWF Tag Team Championships. This was a great match between 4 great workers, 4 future world champions. These guys really knew how to go at one another. These 4 men really knew how to tell a compelling story. They were a part of TLC 1, 2, and 3. Just a great all-around contest here with numerous near falls. Finish of this match was kind of interesting because Terry was actually with the Hardys, but she would turn on the Hardys. I don't know why. I'd like to know why. Could somebody tell me? Anyway, Terry looked good in this match. This is what she was wearing right here. Yeah. Jerry Lawler said, the puppies are hanging out. But anyway, so Terry pushed Jeff off the ring post, and Matt was like, why'd you do that? Christian hit it unprettier. 1, 2, 3, beat Matt. The Acolytes then attacked the Hardys because the Acolytes were supposed to protect Terry from the Dudleys. The whole thing was a big mess. But nevertheless, the Edge and Christian would win this number one contenders match. Would go on to WrestleMania in a triangle ladder match with the Hardys and Dudleys, and would win that. How the Hardys got added into the match, I don't know. I forget. But it was decent for what it was. It was alright. But this was a good match. So let's get into the next contest, which was not all that good. Let's get into it. So the next match was Big Boss Man against Taz. This was kind of just a throwaway match. It's sad that Taz had debuted a month before this. Literally, they brawled some on the outside. Taz came in, put Boss Man in the Taz mission, and Prince Albert interfered. And both of them beat up Taz after the match. They hit Taz over the head with a nightstick, broke the nightstick in half, and yeah, I mean there really wasn't much to this match. I mean, like I said, Taz, they were brawling a little bit, but it's sad to see that Taz was just a month removed from this, and he would go into the Hardcore Battle Royal at WrestleMania 2000. So yeah, moving on. The next contest was XPac against Cain in a no-holds-barred match. And this match was short for a no-holds-barred match. They went almost 8 minutes. Uh, Good match though. I was surprised because some of these results I knew and some of them I didn't, and I wanted to be surprised. I was a little bit surprised that X-Pac had won. The story here was X-Pac and Cain were best friends, and Cain was an unofficial member of DX. Tori was his girlfriend, and then Tori and X-Pac both turned on Cain. Tori became Cain's X-Pac's love interest, whatever. I believe they had a match at Armageddon '99. Cain kind of just disappeared and had returned on Raw a couple weeks before this. See, this is the type of shit I love. They had a story for every single match on this show, and it looked incredible. This was one of those matches where I was surprised that it was so short. But Cain ended up doing a tombstone on Tori, which was awesome to see. And then X-Pac ended up beating Cain by putting the steps in his face. And that's how X-Pac got the win. And it was pretty cool to see. It was one of those things that, the crowd was molten hot for Cain. The crowd loved it. The crowd ate up every single bit of whatever it was that they were doing. Excuse me. They were eating it up. They loved X-Pac, loved Cain, but, X-Pac being the heel here, they had loved him as a tag team, and then X-Pac kind of just turned his back on Cain, and then, everybody wanted to see X-Pac get his comeuppance. And Cain, I think this would end the feud. I know that they would be in a tag match at Mania, but they should have blown it off at WrestleMania, but it ended up not happening. So then you get an interview with the Radicals, which was Eddie Guerrero, Perry Saturn, Dean Malenko, and Chris Benoit. The next match would be a 6-man tag team match between the Radicals and Rikishi and Tuku. And this was a hell of a match. As you can see by my rating, I gave it 3 3/4 star out of 5. This is the same rating that I gave the Hardys and Edge and Christian. This was a fantastic match. For it to be a 6-man tag, of course, with it being it was Benoit, Perry Saturn, and Dean Malenko, and it was Scotty 2 Hotty, Grandmaster Sexay, and Rikishi. The crowd ate up the worm. Scotty 2 Hotty was doing the worm at some point in this match, and they ate it up. Finish came when Rikishi hit Dean Malenko with his banzai and beat him like that. But there was one time in this match where it looked like the Radicals were going to win, and Chris Benoit hit the diving headbutt, and it looked like they were going to win. Pretty cool story to note here is this was actually the Radicals' pay-per-view debut in the WWF. They debuted shortly after the Royal Rumble. And, of course, Benoit would be involved in that match at Mania between Jericho and Angle. And Eddie Guerrero would be involved in something with the Radicals against, I think it was Chyna and Tuku, I believe. So the feud kind of continued in a way. It was just without Benoit. But Eddie had gotten his arm hurt by Rikishi, so there was a bunch of stories and stuff built up here. You get a video package for The Rock and Big Show. But like I said, nothing but good stuff here. So moving on, we get The Rock and The Big Show. And this match stems back to the Rumble in which The Rock eliminated The Big Show. But if you look on the tape clear, it shows that The Rock's feet actually hit first. So The Big Show technically won the 2000 Royal Rumble. This match kind of fell a little flat for me. Yes, I gave it 2 1/4 stars. But, Shane McMahon got a huge pop coming out, and I forgot how this match ended. So I was like, I saw The Rock hit the rock bottom, and I was like, well, what's going to happen? And then I was like, Shane McMahon came out, and they got a big pop. He came out and hit The Rock with a steel chair. Hit The Rock with a steel chair, and that's how the match ended. I forget why Shane McMahon said he attacked The Rock. I need to go back and see why he did. But I know that he ended up attacking The Rock, and it would lead to Big Show being the number one contender for the match at WrestleMania. Of course, these two men and the two men in the Hell in a Cell match that I'm about to cover here shortly were in a fatal four-way at WrestleMania 2000, when you could have easily had The Rock win here and then had Triple H win the Hell in a Cell and had those two men wrestle one another. But I understand why they did it, giving Foley his moment. This match kind of fell a little flat for me, though. You know, it didn't really do like I thought it was gonna do, and that to me is just sad, because you know these two guys had the ability to put on a very capable match, and they just were not able to. For whatever reason, the match just did not gel, and the match just didn't do like how it was supposed to do for me. So Kurt Angle was celebrating with the fans all night, and then he left the arena, and Jericho ended up attacking him. Then we get to the main event. It's the title versus career Hell in a Cell match, and I was tempted to go to full 5, but I ended up not. I went 4.5. This match to me had its slow moments, but it was still balls to the walls exciting. Mankind took a big bump off to the announce table, and as you can see on the screen, he took a big back body drop bump where he went through where the ring broke, and then Triple H beat him with a pedigree. But there was a time in this match where he used a barbed wire baseball bat, and Triple H got scared. You know, this match was incredible. It is not nearly on the level of the Royal Rumble street fight in Madison Square Garden, but this is still a very, very good, very good championship match. Foley's career was on the line here, and he would ultimately end up losing, but he would have a one-off match at WrestleMania 2000, which would end up not being one-off because he would come back in 2006 for a brief run with the company. But after No Way Out, a lot of people thought his career was over, and it set up Triple H versus Big Show, which would not have been a very exciting match. So they kind of had to do it that way or whatever. But yeah, I mean, I just loved the brutality, you know, in the match. Because you look at it, you had Mankind was trying to take all of these stops to beat Triple H and was trying to take his title. And Triple H, you know, was beating the hell out of Cactus Jack. And Cactus Jack just kept coming back and kept coming back and coming back. Even when he slammed him through and did the back body drop bump. And they went through the cage. Cactus Jack, because he was Cactus Jack here, ended up moving his hand and indicating that he was okay. And it was the bumps like this that you have to, excuse my language, but you have to fucking love Cactus Jack. Mick Foley, Mankind, Dude Love, whatever you want to call him. You have to love and respect the performer that Cactus Jack was, because Cactus Jack is a hell of a performer, and he showed it in this match. You know, the amount of bumps he was willing to take, the amount of brutality in this match. It's definitely a match that is not for the weak-hearted. You know, I'm definitely going to tell you that. But anyway, guys, so I'm going to give you my final thoughts on this show here. I'm gonna give you a couple pros that I thought really worked on this show. A couple things I loved on this show was the Hell in a Cell match, as I've talked about, the 6-man tag match, the Hardys versus Edge and Christian, and Angle versus Jericho. I think really these 4 matches were the 4 pillars of this show. That Rock and Big Show, you can kind of make an argument for, was alright. Then you had the 2 things on the show that I thought blew chunks, and it was Viscera, Mark Henry, and Taz and Boss Man. These 2 matches really didn't do anything for me. They were kind of the low points of the show to me. I really think that they're skippable. There's not really any content of note on there. My final grade for this show is a solid A. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10, a solid A. It is an awesome pay-per-view event. I recommend you give it a watch when you can, because this is one of those shows that to me was better than WrestleMania 2000. Just give it a watch whenever you can. Anyway, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this review of No Way Out 2000. I'm probably going to end up reviewing No Way Out 2001 as well. Anyway, guys, hope you guys enjoyed. Peace. I'm out.